London President Jacob Zuma of South Africa suffered a stinging legal defeat on Wednesday when the country's High Court rejected his efforts to block an inquiry into accusations of influence peddling so widespread that it is known as state capture. The decision came days before a major gathering to choose Mr. Zuma's successor as leader of the governing African National Congress. After the findings were read aloud in court, the public gallery burst into applause and cheers, according to local news media reports. The allegations center on accusations that Mr. Zuma has been complicit in a scheme by three businessmen that allows them to influence the appointment of government ministers in order to tilt the awarding of contracts in their favor. Mr. Zuma and the men, who are brothers, have all denied the charges. The court's judge-president, Dunstan Mlambo, said Mr. Zuma's conduct in seeking to gag an official report into corruption and to block a judicial inquiry amounts to clear abuse of the judicial process. The judge also called Mr. Zuma's challenge ill-advised and reckless. Some legal analysts said the court's language was among the harshest yet in a series of legal confrontations involving Mr. Zuma, his accusers, and the judiciary. The 350-page report on corruption was compiled by Thulisile Madonsela, the former public protector, who is effectively the country's anti-corruption czar. Ms. Madonsela, who was in the courtroom on Wednesday, told reporters, "An allegation that the state has been captured in the interests of the president and his friends is an allegation that needs to be investigated." In her report, released in November 2016, Ms. Madonsela called for the creation of a public inquiry, but Mr. Zuma has resisted, saying that the public protector did not have the authority to order him to set up the inquiry since the decision was his prerogative. Judge Mlambo, however, said that the accusations detailed in the report are extremely serious, and that Mr. Zuma had a clear personal interest in the outcome of the inquiry, according to local news media reports. The judge also said Mr. Zuma should pay the costs of challenging the accusations. Judge Mlambo ordered Mr. Zuma to set up the inquiry within 30 days, ensure that its work concluded within 180 days and inform Parliament within 14 days of the findings. It was not immediately clear whether Mr. Zuma would appeal the order. The court's ruling came at a delicate time in the often opaque maneuverings of the African National Congress, which has governed South Africa since the election in 1994 of Nelson Mandela as the nation's first black president in the post-apartheid era. Traditionally, the party chooses its officials at an elective conference, and the person picked as its leader is the overwhelming favorite to be its presidential candidate in the next national elections, due in 2019. The conference starts on Saturday, and the front-runners include Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, a former government minister, and Mr. Zuma's ex-wife, and Cyril Ramaphosa, a former mine workers' union leader who ranks among the wealthiest people in the country. The court ruling on Wednesday may well deepen sentiment among ANC